These notes are called Factoring by GCF. GCF stands for Greatest Common Factor. So go ahead and go to your polynomials folder, go under your notes, look for your notes on Factoring by GCF. So they have a little warm up for us to do at the top, and we're going to go ahead and do that just so we can remember how to do all of this. We're going to say here we're multiplying, and here we're just going to be using distributive properties. So a times 3a is going to give me 3a squared, and a times 7 is plus 7a. Here we have negative 2m times m squared, which is going to be a negative 2m to the third. Negative 2 times a positive 6 gives me a negative 12m squared, and negative 2m times negative 1 is going to give me a positive 2m. Here, if we multiply these, we're going to end up with 4x to the fifth y minus 8x to the third. There's no x here, so we just keep that third. And then we've got 2y's, y squared. Now, what is factoring? That's the new thing that we're doing now, is we're going to take these right here, and we're going to take them back to their products. Factoring is simply taking a polynomial and breaking it back down into a product. The project that you're going to have in a few weeks is going to be on factoring polynomials and all the different ways that we can do that. So we're just going to take this right here, and we're going to say, what could I have multiplied to get that? And what I'm going to look for is what we call a GCF, or a greatest common factor. So if I look at 4 and 8, my greatest common factor that I could pull out of that is a 4. So when I pull that 4 out, what is that going to leave me in here? So if I take the 4 out of there, I'm going to be left with a squared. And if I factor that 4 out of 8, what did I multiply? It gave me that 8. Multiplied it by that 2. So I've pulled the 4 out, and I was left with a squared plus 2. So I'm just factoring it back out. Polynomials that cannot be factored are called prime. So if it cannot be factored, it's called prime. Think about your prime numbers, like 7. It can only be 7 times 1. There's no other way to factor it. So it is a prime number. So let's look at 1 and 3, the examples there on the bottom. I look here and I say, what can I pull out? What can I divide each of these by that would still make it even and not give me any kind of fractions or crazy decimals? So 3 goes into the 3, 3 goes into 12. So I'm going to pull that 3 out. That's going to leave just an x there, and 12 divided by 3 is going to leave me a 4. Looking at number 3, I have an 8 here, and I have 36 there. So if I look for my greatest common factors, and if you have to, go ahead and write down, all right, well, this is 1 times 8, 2 times 4. This is 1 times 36, 2 times 18, 3 times 12, 4 times 9. And you'll see that the greatest common factor is the biggest number that goes into both of them. So in this case, it's going to be 4. I'm going to pull out my 4. 8 divided by 4 is going to leave me 2. I'm going to bring down that m. 36 divided by 4 is going to leave me 9. And I bring down that m. And you should be able to multiply this back out and get what you originally started with. So that's a good way to check yourself, is just to kind of multiply it back and make sure you get the same thing. All right, let's go ahead and look at some examples on the back. All right, let's start with number 5. We've got 6a squared plus 27. So I look at that and I go, oh, 3 divides evenly into both of those. So let me pull a 3 out. Well, 6 divided by 3 is going to leave 2. 27 divided by 3 is going to leave 9. Let's go down and look at number 7. I've got 21 CD minus 3D. Notice here I've got a variable on both sides that's the same. So not only do I have a common number I can pull out there, I've also got a variable I can pull out because they share that variable. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that variable out. Now, 3 goes into 21 7 times. I have a C left, but those two D's are going to cancel each other out, so I'm not going to have my D in here. Then 3 goes into 3 1 time. Notice my D's again are going to cancel each other out. Now, the way you check yourself is you're going to go back and you're going to multiply these. So 3D times 7C is going to give me 21 CD. 3D times 1 gives me that 3D. So always just check yourself and make sure you're doing good. Let's look at number 11. 11 has AB minus A. Well, what's common between those two? It's that A. So if I pull that A out, I'm left with a B here, and A divided by A is going to leave 1. So I'm going to end up with A times B minus 1. Again, you check yourself by multiplying. A times B gives me that AB. A times negative 1 gives me that negative A. All right, let's erase this. And let's look at 13. So for 13, I have 5x minus 13y. Well, look at my variables. There's nothing common between them. And there's nothing that I could pull out between 5 or 13. There's no common factors that I can pull out. Both of these in themselves are prime numbers. So when I see this, this is going to be prime. Remember, if it can't be factored out, it's prime. This is an example of one that's prime. We can't factor that one out at all. All right, let's look at 15. Let's switch colors so it's easier to see. You know I like my colors. All right, 15, we have 2x squared y minus 2xy squared plus 4xy. So I look at my numbers first. I can pull a 2 out of there. I have an x in every one of those. I can pull an x out. I have a y in every one of them, so I can pull a y out. So let's see what we get left with. All right, 2 divided by 2, that just gives me 1. X squared divided by x, so that's going to leave me an x. Y divided by y, that's just going to be 1. So that first there is just going to be x. Now I'm going to subtract. Got my subtract, bring it down. So 2 divided by 2, that's just 1. X divided by x, that's just 1. I'm going to be left with 1y inside. Now I'm going to go to this one and bring down my addition sign. 4 divided by 2 is going to leave me 2. But here my x cancels and my y cancels out. Again, go back and multiply and check yourself. So 2xy times x would give me 2x squared y. 2xy times negative y would give me a negative 2xy squared. 2xy times 2 would give me 4xy. So we did do that one correctly. So let's go down and do one more. Let's try, I think we'll do 2 more. Let's go ahead and do 19. So I've got 14 GH squared plus 28 GH plus 14H. Well, number-wise, I know I can pull 14 out. If I look at my G's, I've got a G here, I've got a G here, but I don't have a G in this one. Because I don't have a G in there, I can't pull it out. I can only pull it out if it's going to be in all of them. But look, I do have an H in each one of them. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that H out. 14 divided by 14, that gives me 1. I still have a G in there. H squared divided by h, that still leaves me an h in there. Plus 28 divided by 14 is going to leave me 2. Still have that g. My h's are going to cancel. Now, what happens here? This is 14h, this is 14h. Well, 14h divided by 14h is going to give me a 1. Don't just leave that off. You don't just stop here at the 2g. If we've got 3 here, I need to have 3 in here. So 14h divided by 14h is going to give me 1. All right, let's try one more. And since usually they get harder as we go, let's go ahead and jump to the very last problem on the page. Let's see, that's number 24. So we've got 3 a to the third power b squared c minus 9 a squared b to the third c squared plus 15 a b to the fourth c to the third. Pay attention. This one gets a little bit more tricky. So when I look at my numbers, I can see that 3 can go into each one of those. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out a 3. Now I'm going to look at A. I got 3 A's there, 2 there, and 1. Well, 1's the highest one, so I can only pull out 1. Look at the B's. I got 2 B's, 3 B's, 4 B's. So 2 can go into all of them because it's the lowest. So I'm going to actually pull 2 of those B's out. C, because I only have 1 here, I got 2 there, 3 there, I can pull out 1. So let's go ahead and look at what we've got left at this point. My 3's, they cancel to 1. When I look at the A's, I've got 2 left. B's are going to cancel, C's are going to cancel. Put my subtraction sign. 9 divided by 3 gives me 3. Here I have 1A, here I have 2, so I got to make sure I put 1 there. B squared, I've got B3 there, so that's got to come down. I have 1C here, but I've got 2 there, so I've got to bring that down. 15 divided by 3 is going to give me 5. 1A, 1A, they cancel out. Here I've got 2 B's, I've got 4, so I need 2 more in there. Here I've got 1C, I need 3, so I'm going to put 2 more in there. So let's work this out. Let's go ahead and multiply it out and see if we did it right. So 3AB squared C times A. Well, that's going to give me 2 more A's, so that would be a 3, so that's right. 3 times 3 is 9. I would have 2 A's, 3 B's, 2 C's, so that's good. 3 times 5 gave me 15. I would have 1 A. I would have 4 B's and 3 C's. So see, if we multiply it back out, we can always check our work. So this is factoring by greatest common factors. You can go into your homework page, your homework folder, and do Unit 7, Homework 5. That will give you practice doing these. Go ahead and practice them. Then look at your answers and see if you got them right. If you got something wrong, try to figure out what you did. Learn from what you did wrong. And make sure you understand how to do these. If you need help, email me, send me a message through Schoology, and we will talk soon.